Something invisible is whispering to you right now. And if you're quiet enough, you might just hear the next step your soul is ready to take. We're entering a rare energetic phase that isn't about action or intensity. It's about surrender, intuition, and divine communication. While the world might seem noisy and fast, the cosmos is gently inviting you into stillness, into clarity, into truth that doesn't come from logic, but from your inner knowing. It's a call not to figure things out, but to feel your way forward. This energy doesn't rush you. It doesn't demand an answer. It simply sits with you, whispering softly until you remember how to hear with more than just your ears. June 3rd brings a powerful yet subtle alignment. Mercury in Cancer forming a harmonious sextile with Neptune in Pisces. If you're familiar with astrology, you might already feel the texture of this day. It isn't electric like a Mars transit or grounded like Saturn's touch. It's fluid, gentle. It opens space rather than closing it. It creates an invitation rather than delivering a command. And in that openness, something beautiful can arise. Mercury is the planet of communication, thought, speech, logic, planning, and mental focus. In Cancer, Mercury becomes emotionally intuitive. It speaks through feelings, not formulas. It wants to connect, nurture, remember. It seeks resonance rather than reason. In Cancer, Mercury is less concerned with being right and more interested in being real. It's the kind of communication that happens in silence, through a glance or the softness in someone's voice. It values safety over certainty. Neptune, on the other hand, is a planet of dreams, mysticism, compassion, transcendence, and imagination. It rules the intangible, the sacred, the unseen, the soul. In Pisces' home sign, Neptune becomes both amplified and elusive. It dissolves boundaries. It expands our sensitivity. It opens portals to other realms of perception. When Neptune speaks, it does so in poetry, metaphor, music, scent, touch, and dream. Neptune doesn't speak in lines. It speaks in waves. When Mercury and Neptune form a sextile, an angle of cooperation and harmony, what we get is a moment where the rational mind and the spiritual mind link up. They collaborate. They enter into a quiet agreement. I won't dismiss you if you don't try to control me. It's an alliance that creates emotional clarity and opens us to receive insights that come through feelings rather than thoughts. Instead of arguing or contradicting each other, they become allies. It's like having one hand in the material world and one hand in the divine. And for a brief window, they move in the same direction. One of the biggest challenges on the spiritual path is learning to distinguish between fear, fantasy, and true inner knowing. This Mercury-Neptune sextile offers a rare clarity in that realm. Because Mercury is in Cancer, intuitive hits will be felt emotionally, not necessarily as words, but as sensations. You might feel a softening in your chest when you think of a particular option, a wave of peace when visualizing a new direction, a gut feeling that doesn't make sense but refuses to go away. These are not coincidences. These are clues. They are the body's language for truth. Tonight, write a question you've been holding. Nothing forced, something simple. Place it under your pillow. As you sleep, you might receive the answer not in words but in sensations, memories, dream fragments. Pay attention. Trust yourself. Remember that intuition rarely shouts. It rarely insists. It knocks softly and waits for you to open the door. Sometimes clarity doesn't come from a better plan. It comes from being honest about how we feel. The thoughts you haven't said aloud, the aches you haven't admitted, the confusion that lingers behind your productivity. This alignment helps you name the unspoken and forgive the unprocessed. It gives language to feelings you weren't sure you were allowed to have. Write freely for 10 minutes. Let it be messy. Let it make no sense. Then stop. Read it. What part of you wrote that? Was it your inner child, your protector, your exhausted self? Let that part be seen. When we make space for every voice inside us, even the conflicted or scared ones, we become whole again. We become compassionate witnesses to our own journey. This is also a beautiful time to return to your dreams, not the ones you have while sleeping, though those too, but the dreams you set aside because they seemed impractical. The ideas that felt too tender to expose to the world. The visions that once made your heart ache with possibility. Today is a day to pick them up again, to touch them with reverence. Sit down, close your eyes, see yourself living one of those dreams. Don't edit it. Don't try to make it fit your current circumstances. Let the dream speak first, then write what you saw, describe it in detail, and after that, take one step, a small one, a symbolic one email, one sketch, one conversation. Energy begins to move when you do. If there's someone you've been distant from, this energy can help bridge that space, not by solving the problem, but by creating an opening. Reach out. Say something simple. You don't have to resolve everything. You just have to be willing to feel again. Sometimes a text, a voice note, or even just an internal prayer can move more energy than a long conversation. You can also use this time to forgive without conditions. Write their name. Write what you wish they knew. Write what you're ready to let go of. You don't need them to respond for the healing to happen. You only need to stop carrying what you were never meant to hold forever. Mercury governs the mind, and Neptune can either inspire or confuse. Your thoughts are more porous now. You're absorbing more than usual. Choose carefully what you let in. Today is not the day for endless scrolling, for violent headlines, for online debates. It's a day for curation, for protecting your energetic hygiene. Choose music that makes your body soften. Listen to voices that remind you of what matters. Read poetry instead of posts. Let silence be more frequent than input. Sit with a tree, light a candle. Let your mind be a sanctuary, not a storage unit for the world's noise. Some days are for acting, others are for listening. This one is the latter. Spiritual downloads aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they come when you're washing the dishes, or walking your dog, or staring at a ceiling fan. Be receptive. Ask, what do I need to know right now? Then listen without expectation. Watch how the answer weaves itself into your life. If you can, sit with water, a bath, a bowl, a stream. Water helps you remember. Water carries memory. Water conducts feeling. It opens you. Speak into it. Breathe with it. Let it mirror you. And then stay. Stay in the stillness a little longer than feels comfortable. Stay in the silence until it stretches you. Watch how your body reacts. Watch what surfaces. The parts of you that only speak when the noise dies down might just begin to whisper back. Memories, old or recent, might bubble up. Not to haunt you, but to be seen, honored, witnessed. The present moment deepens when we become brave enough to be still inside it. This is where a new part of the conversation begins, the one between you and life itself, the one you've likely postponed while rushing from task to task. Here in this watery slowness, your intuition can breathe. Your soul can rise to the surface. Try cupping water in your hands and speaking a truth into it. Something you haven't said out loud yet. Something sacred. Then release the water. Let it carry your words, your truth, your prayer into the world. Feel what happens when you let something be witnessed without needing to be fixed. Water holds memory, but it also holds release. As you soak, sip, or sit beside it, imagine each exhale as a gentle letting go of control, of certainty, of the belief that you need to earn your peace. The water doesn't ask you to be anything but present. It doesn't ask you to justify your emotions. It simply receives. It simply flows. And in that flow, something shifts. You might find yourself crying without knowing why. laughing at a memory you haven't visited in years, feeling soft in places you thought had gone numb. This is healing, not the dramatic kind, but the cellular, slow, remembering kind. From here, ask again, what is ready to come through me now? Maybe it's a story, a melody, a truth you've tried to silence. Maybe it's a new way of being that you glimpsed in dreams or in the quiet spaces between breaths. Whatever comes, welcome it. You don't have to act on it yet. You only have to acknowledge it, and let this be the beginning of a new kind of relationship with the unseen, with the felt, with the deep wells of wisdom that don't shout but hum. Let this be the moment where you stop demanding answers and start cultivating intimacy with the questions themselves. Because when Mercury aligns with Neptune, and when your logic surrenders to feeling, you become a vessel. Not for noise, but for knowing. Not for performance, but for presence. Let the water be your mirror. Let it show you what you've hidden. Let it reflect what you forgot was beautiful. This is just the beginning. There is more to hear, more to trust, more to receive. So be still again. Be soft again. Let it come. And if you stay with that softness long enough, you may begin to feel something open within you. Something vast, something ancient, a memory that has no name, but feels like home. You might realize that the voice you've been trying to hear outside of you has always lived inside of you. Not in words, but in sensations, in instincts, in the subtle movements of your breath and the quiet shivers of your skin. It is the part of you that remembers before you were taught to forget. Take a moment now to slow your breath. Notice the way the air fills you. Let it travel through your body like light. Let it linger in the tight places. With every exhale, allow something old to fall away, a story you inherited, a belief that never belonged to you, a tension that isn't yours to hold. Let them go. Let the breath do the work, and then place a hand over your heart, the same heart that has carried you through every storm and every sunrise. Listen. What does it say now when everything else is quiet? What truths have been waiting to be acknowledged? What wisdom have you buried beneath survival? Maybe you hear a whisper that says, it's okay to rest. Or one that gently nudges, you're safe now. Maybe you hear nothing, and in that nothing, you find peace. Stay there. Let this be enough. You don't have to transform this moment into a task. You don't need to extract anything useful from it. Just be in it. Let yourself be wrapped in the richness of simply existing. Sometimes the most profound healing comes not from doing more, but from finally allowing yourself to do less. And when you rise from this stillness, do so slowly, like a new shoot pushing through the soil. Let your next step be deliberate. Let it be led not by obligation, but by resonance. Ask yourself, what feels true now? What feels nourishing? Go make tea, light a candle, write one sentence in a journal. Sit outside with your eyes closed. Call someone who makes you feel more like yourself. Let your day unfold from this grounded place where softness is not weakness, but power in its most honest form. And if doubt returns, as it will, meet it with compassion. Invite it to sit beside you, but don't let it steer. Remember the water. Remember the quiet. Remember what it felt like to hear your own soul whispering. You can return to that place anytime. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need a full moon or a ritual bath or a silent forest. You only need presence. You only need willingness. You only need to remember. There's a reason this energy comes with Neptune, because Neptune dissolves the borders between seen and unseen, between self and spirit, between what you know and what you long to know. Neptune reminds you that not everything needs to be proven to be real, that not everything that matters can be measured. Mercury brings this into the realm of thought, language, and articulation. It helps you speak what was previously unspeakable. It gives form to the formless. But it only works when you stop trying to control the outcome, when you surrender to the current. So if words come now, let them. Write without editing. Speak into a voice memo. Let the message move through you. Let it be messy. Let it be raw. And if words don't come, that's okay too. Maybe the message lives in a feeling, a brushstroke, a hum, a dance. Maybe it's not meant to be said. Maybe it's meant to be felt. Give yourself permission to receive in a new way, to create in a new way, to be in a new way. Because this energy isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are, underneath the conditioning, the expectation, the noise. You don't have to force it. You don't have to chase it. You only have to listen. And if you're listening now, you're already exactly where you need to be.